Joining us now is Minnesota State Representative Aisha Gomez. She represents the district where both Alex Preddy and Renee Good were fatally gunned down by those federal agents in less than 3 weeks. Representative Gomez, thank you for being with us. Family, friends, and colleagues have all described Alex Preddy as someone who truly embodied the best of his community. His family says he was a kind-hearted soul who cared deeply for his family and friends, and also the American veterans whom he cared for as an ICU nurse at the Minnesota VA hospital. Can you share what his loss means for the community?
Yeah, thank you. I think that anybody who read Alex's parents' statement, just must have been moved by it. I'm thankful to them for saying what they said about him, and, hearing from his colleagues and his friends, as you said, and seeing the way that what he did in his final moments, which was to do what he did during his life, stand up for others, protect people, and try to make things go well in the community. And so we are just heartbroken, and we are angry about his loss and the brutality and the callous lack of regard for humanity that we saw in the video. And as the person who you interviewed on the street said, the slandering of his character by President Trump, Secretary Noem, Stephen Miller, the white nationalist architect of all of this, has just been infuriating. And we're sad and pissed off. I mean, you can imagine. But I think that, I don't know what it looks like from where you're standing, but I will say that in the last few days, I have had a few Republican colleagues in the legislature speak out about the ICE's actions in our community and call on them to stop. We have seen Democratic senators standing together and saying we are not passing a funding bill that funds this brutality. We had a Republican candidate for Minnesota governor drop out today, and the reason is because he cannot be associated with a party that is pursuing this unconstitutional, murderous rampage in our largest city. I'm reading in the media all over deep concern from inside DHS, from inside ICE, about the fact that they are losing the PR war, that they can try to get up and do their propaganda spin machine all they want. But people who are actually committed to law enforcement professionals understand that what's happening is a discrediting of this entire kind of facade of this ICE operation in Minnesota, and that it threatens other things. It threatens the legitimacy of law enforcement more broadly. And so,
We're seeing that this administration is not policing themselves. They aren't holding anyone accountable internally. They're defending to all ends the actions of the officers in both the Renee Good shooting and now what we've seen following the death of Alex Preddy. The American people are trying to make sure that they are held accountable by documenting their actions and making sure that evidence is visible. We've all seen the videos by now of Preddy with his phone. That's what he was there. He was trying to document the agents before this shooting. I wonder, though, what the ripple effects are now. Do you think this could have a chilling effect on community members who are peacefully protesting or are there recording events, who now may be worried about their own safety?
I mean, I am worried about that. I think that, everybody has to kind of do their own risk assessment for how to show up in this moment. What I can say is that during the time, since this murder, you can see the scenes from the streets. People are not going inside. People are not being intimidated. We're going to continue to stand up for our communities. We're going to continue to stand up for our democracy against these tactics by an authoritarian regime. I think that, people are emboldened. Minnesotans are courageous people who care deeply about showing up for one another. And, the night when Alex was killed, I live a few blocks, a half a mile or so from the site. And there was a big vigil there. And then I was heading home, and on every street corner that I passed, there were just little groups of neighbors standing outside with candles and lights. Mm. And, we're going to continue to show up because we understand the stakes of what is happening in our city, and that it has bigger implications for our country. And so, the Minnesotans who are out, Alex, Renee, and the tens of thousands of us who are in this with them are going to continue. We are patriotic Americans, and this is our duty to our country to continue to show up and fight this unconstitutional incursion.